Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 10, Episode 42 overall, 537 of Live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph, Ottawa. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family-run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. The home training camp of the Toronto Argonauts, by the way. And I've been a proud customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here now for 25 years and going on more. I hope everyone's doing well on this Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, on this not a bad day here in Southern Ontario, 21 Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit, perfect weather for football. And with the CFL back in full swing with training camp, I have a special guest today. He's a friend of the show, friend of mine, and he is now back with the Hamilton Tiger Cats as their play-by-play voice on the Tiger Cats audio network and on Y108. His name is Rick Zamperin, and he's also on CHCH News's morning live show now as well. So we're going to bring on Rick Zamperin, the voice of the Cats, and we're going to talk a little football with him as well. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Hey, Chris. Good. How are you?
Good. Congratulations on becoming the voice of the Cats for a second time and for your new role with CHCH News.
Thank you so much. It is, I'm using the words ecstatic and thrilling and, in some cases unbelievable. I didn't think when I started my radio career 30 years ago that I would be on television and doing play-by-play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats for now a second time. So still pinching myself. It is hopefully going to be an amazing year, both on and off the field, not only for myself, but for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the entire Canadian Football League. So very much looking forward to kickoff here in, a couple of weeks when we're talking about preseason ball.
I want to ask you this. How did it come about going back with the Tiger Cats? I know the last couple of years they had RJ and Luke Tasker who did a good job, but how did this come about? And just tell us about Simone Lawrence and what he brings to the broadcast as well.
Well, really how it came about was a phone call to ask my interest in whether or not I would be interested in recapturing the magic behind the mic, calling Hamilton Tiger Cats football games. And the answer was yes. It was, I got into media. I was a 10-year-old kid watching Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night, and, the illustrious Bob Cole is calling the action. I thought, I want to do that. Like, I wanted to play the sport, but I knew that it was incredibly difficult to make it to the elite of the elites, whether it was hockey or football or basketball or all the other sports that I played. And so I thought, wouldn't it be neat to describe the action? Because I also got a kick out of, telling stories and telling people the news and trying to be the first to do so. Hey, did you hear about, so-and-so or this or that? And I really, that really boosts my adrenaline. And to do it in a play-by-play aspect and connect the storytelling with the sports world, it was a combination of two things that I really loved from a very early age. And so, again, when the Tiger Cats called, I said, absolutely. When do we start? So looking forward to 2025.
Now, did they pair you up with some other analysts too, or was Simone Lawrence going to be the analyst anyways? And how important was it to have good chemistry with him as well?
Yeah, as far as I know, Simone was their top choice as color analyst. Luke Tasker has a young family. He's got a great career post football that he's really diving into. So, I mean, from his perspective, he couldn't really, carve out that much time that he really had hoped to, or would do justice for that job. So the Tiger Cats looked inward, and what better choice than Simone Lawrence, an exuberant, high energy, and highly intellectual football mind when it comes to obviously playing the game, for which he did for well over a decade and did so exceptionally on both sides of the border. But also, he's got a great ability to speak to the common football fan, and even those ones who are not hardcore, to describe what just happened in this particular play. Why was there a defensive breakdown? How did the offense take advantage of this situation? What are the issues on special teams? And he's going to be fantastic, not only this year, but beyond, in breaking down the X's and O's that fans, young, old, and from all sorts of football IQ-ness can understand. So I think there's going to be great chemistry. I'm going to let Simone be Simone. I know he's going to bring the energy. I'm certainly going to bring a lot of excitement and energy as well. And, hopefully we get to talk about a lot more wins as opposed to losses this year, because I know last year they started out rough. It was 2-9. They were trying to figure things out on defense and on special teams, trying to limit those turnovers on offense. And then they kind of figured it out. They did figure it out kind of halfway through the season and made a real serious push for a playoff spot. Let's hope they get off to a much better start here this season.
Did you guys have like a trial run together, like a couple of practices, broadcasts?
That is to come, actually. We're going to be working on that, and we're going to get our bearings, because, as you know, whenever you put two or more people, because there's more than just two of us, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes folks who are planning things, doing research, collecting statistics, managing the audio portion of the Ticats audio network. And, we're going to go through some rehearsal process to get on the same page, to kind of get used to each other's nuances. And that's why we have preseason as well, not only for the football players who are trying to make the team and trying to impress the coaches and trying to get all on the same page. As broadcasters, we need those two games as well. Let me tell you, I've done a lot of preseason games, a lot of regular season and playoff games as well. You're never going to have a perfect game, whether you're a player or a broadcaster or a head coach. There's always going to be a little slip up or something you wish you'd done, maybe a little bit differently or a little bit better. But the paving of the road begins in just a matter of days, and I'm looking forward to it.
Any other changes to the Tiger Cats audio network for the 2025 season?
From what I understand, that is going to be a big announcement coming up in terms of all the other players that are comprised here in the Ticats audio network. I do know some of the names. I'm not at liberty to announce who they are, but I can tell you this. Ticats fans are going to be ultra excited, very happy, and really eager to hear the sound of the Ticats audio network here in 2025.
Your first preseason game with Simone Lawrence will be May 24th against the Argos at Hamilton Stadium. Have they found a new name for the stadium yet?
Last check, no. I remember asking this question several weeks ago, a few months ago maybe, and the answer at that time was still no. The search party had been unleashed, and some corporate sponsors were being looked at, but nothing official has been announced. I'm expecting something, fingers crossed, to be announced before the start of the regular season. But listen, if not, there's obviously some T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted. I'm going to leave that to the higher ups to decide. I'm just looking forward to calling the action in between the lines.
How much does it mean to you, Rick, to be the voice of the Hamilton Tiger Cats again in the city of Hamilton, and also the TV aspect with CHCH News?
Well, I'll start with the Ticats. It's phenomenal, really. As I said earlier, this was a boyhood dream that I had from a fairly young age. I knew what I wanted to do when I grew up, so to speak, and I'm still growing up in a sense of learning new things and getting to meet new people. And I'll transition to the CHCH Morning Live job that I recently acquired. And there's something brand new to me. I was in radio for 3 decades, and this opportunity in television came up, and I always considered myself to have a face for radio, and I guess it's a face for TV. I've convinced somebody of that, but it is such a pleasure to work with the team at CHCH Television. behind the scenes, in front of the camera, the producers, the marketing department, the salespeople, the executive team. It's extraordinary. They have an awesome team. We have an awesome team at CHCH. And as for the Tiger Cats, I got to do it between 2007 and 2014. I called nearly 200 games, including the Grey Cup in 2013 in Regina at Mosaic Stadium, old Mosaic Stadium. And that was a thrill. And while I don't remember each and every game, there are so many highlights and so many quirks, from plays to games to people in and outside of the locker room, that I hold dear to my heart, and I will for many, many years. And I'm looking forward to making new memories and watching some amazing performances in the years to come.
Do you think you'll be a little nervous before your first game on the 24th?
No, not at all. Listen, this was something that I had worked towards my entire career. And in 2007, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We're at Old Canada Stadium in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's the Tiger Cats and the Blue Bombers. It's a preseason game. And yeah, you'd think you'd have a little bit of nerves, but I was not nervous at all. I had the adrenaline flowing through my veins like never before. It was, and still to this day, among the top 3 broadcasting highlights of my career, because I was doing what I always wanted to do. And it was so exciting. The Tiger Cats won that game 35-32. It was an explosive offensive showdown, a lot of great plays in that game. And so, when May 24th comes around and when their first game of the regular season happens in June, I'm just going to be so jacked to tell the amazing story of the Hamilton Tiger Cats this season.
Have you been to their training camp at McMaster University? I know for many years it was at Brock, but thoughts on their training camp so far at McMaster. Have you been able to attend any yet?
Yes, I've been to a handful of practices, including earlier today. I was there talking with Casey Sales and Stavros Katsantonis, Kenny Lawler as well. I'll share some of those videos and stories later on today on my social feeds at Rick Zamperin, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or X, Blue Sky, you name it, I'm on it at Rick Zamperin. You know what? McMaster is a perfect scenario for the Tiger Cats because, number one, it's in the same city. You don't have to go down the highway to St. Catharines to Brock University. Nothing against Brock. They did a phenomenal job and still do with, their sports and athletics program. But for the Tiger Cats to be at McMaster in Hamilton, just down the road from Hamilton Stadium, all the residences they can use, the facilities at Ron Joyce Stadium are top-notch. And it really brings the team together, not only from a team cohesion standpoint, but, fans are there as well. They can watch some of the action. They can interact with the fans or with the players and coaches after practice. It's an awesome scenario. McMaster and the Tiger Cats have been great partners for so many years, and it's continuing this year. It's being run really well.
It sounds like it's a similar situation with the Argos here in Guelph with the location and the training facilities as well.
Yeah, and listen, Alumni Stadium is a great facility as well. They have, really all the amenities when you talk about the football field, an awesome turf, great sight lines if fans do want to come out. Building that kind of fandom in a city that's just outside of Toronto is not a bad thing. I'm sure a lot of people who live in Guelph are not only already Argos fans, but because training camp is there and they're going to have a preseason game there against the Tiger Cats, they're going to become Argos fans, or maybe they'll become Ticats fans or just CFL fans and go to a few games. And that's what it's all about.
CFL is special, and I'm just so glad it's back. And got to ask you this too, Rick, since I got you on for a few more minutes. What are the expectations from the Hamilton media and the fan base for this 2025 Cats team with some of their off-season moves, draft picks, and Ted Covea coming over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as GM?
I think the bottom line expectation is to be better. Get off to a better start, number one. Challenge for the division title and end this Grey Cup drought. And it might not necessarily be in that order, although you do have to do it in that order to eventually get to the championship game in Winnipeg this season. The expectation is to be better. Last year it was not a very good start. They were, 2-9, and fans were thinking, we've been in this situation so many times, 0-6, 0-8, 1-7, whatever the case is, get off to a better start. And head coach Scott Milanovich spoke to that almost ad nauseum at the end of last season because, they look back at games and it was a coulda, woulda, shoulda scenario. If they had only beaten this team or held on to this late game lead or managed to come back in this game, those things didn't happen. And so they didn't really deserve to make the playoffs because they had such a terrible start off the hop. So that's number one. Get off to a better start, be a better team overall. If they can win the division, great. You get a bye week, you get to rest up. You're going to be playing that playoff game at home and potentially winning that game, and then you're off to Winnipeg. And this fan base has been waiting. This is now the 26th year since their last Grey Cup. That's the longest Grey Cup drought in this franchise's history. And I'll remind you, this franchise is over 155 years old. So it's time. The fan base has had its ups and downs. They've been to 4 Grey Cups over the last, couple of decades. They want to win it now. They want to be in that celebratory confetti flying all over the place and hoisting the Grey Cup. They really want it for the players. And of course, obviously the players want it as well. That's why they play the game.
Got to ask you this, Rick. What kind of an identity does the coaching staff want to have with his team for the Tiger Cat fans that are watching this?
Yeah, one of the words that I've heard a couple of times now, not only at training camp, but even in the off season as well, is they want to be aggressive. And that's, from top to bottom in terms of, player acquisition. Let's be aggressive and get the guys that we want, that we think can move the needle with this team to get us not only over the hump, but be a dominant team in the Canadian Football League. Let's be aggressive on offense, not turn the football over, score a lot of points, get some first downs, retain possession, be a tough team to play against offensively, and certainly defensively and special teams as well. Add some ferocity to the defense. Be aggressive on D. You're not going to blitz all the time. Pick your spots, but when you do, make it count. And on special teams, is there a difference maker in the return game that we have seen time and time again in Hamilton, whether it was Speedy B, Marcus Thigpen, Chris Williams, Earl the Pearl back in the day? They've had so many amazing special teams players in a return aspect. Can they find, not necessarily lightning in a bottle, but a guy who can be the next guy, who could be a difference maker on special teams? And that aggressiveness, I think, from general manager Ted Govaya and the front office staff, and even, like defensive coordinator Brett Monson, can they be aggressive consistently enough to score points or thwart opposing offenses to win more often than not?
What does Ted Govea bring to this franchise from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
I think he brings a lot. I think he brings knowledge, excellence, winning attitude, solid character. He's been in this game for decades, from a scouting perspective to a player personnel guy to an assistant GM. So he knows the game in terms of attracting talent, retaining talent, maybe in some respects helping to motivate that talent to make them the best that they can be, and stockpile a bunch of up-and-coming guys as well, whether it's through the draft or maybe a young guy in free agency who hasn't had an opportunity somewhere else on another team because, from a depth perspective, it just wasn't working out for that individual. I think he also brings that, hey, I've won a couple of rings over the last 5 years, and it could have been 5 consecutive rings, if not for the Argos a couple of times, and the other team, Montreal, that beat Winnipeg a couple of years ago. So, he's been there. He's been to the top rung. He knows what it takes. He's got a great team, great supporting cast around him in the front office. He's been I wouldn't say a breath of fresh air, but you kind of can tell a difference from the front office that, they got the right pieces in place. Now it's just a matter of going out on the field and getting it done.
Rick, just a couple more quick questions before we let you go. And I wanted to ask you this too. How much of an adjustment was it going from radio to TV? And what's the daily day like so far on the morning live? And thoughts on your co-host, Annette Hamm, and how important is it to have chemistry with your co-hosts, or
yes,
in your case, Simone on the radio side?
So great questions. And I was thinking about this today, the adjustment from radio to TV. I could, and I never did, but I could literally show up at the radio station in my pajamas and no one would really know, because everything is from an audio perspective. Now, certainly we did some social media things in terms of video, or, if the mayor was coming into the studio, certainly it would have to look somewhat respectable, but it's all about the ear candy. And from a TV perspective, case in point, I'm in the washroom this morning in between breaks from Morning Live, and I know because I've been told, turn your microphone off because no one wants to hear what's happening in the washroom. And so that just gives you some insight on, some of the different headspace that you have to be in terms of television. You're not only, sharing stories with your voice, but you're sharing it kind of with how you look and how you're kind of reading each story. So it is almost night and day. You have a couple of packs on your belt, one for your earpiece, another one for your microphone. But beyond that, you're still telling stories, you're still sharing the news, you're still having fun and trying to be entertaining. So it's not entirely different, but there are some, little nuances. I'll say this, Annette Hamm is an absolute legend. She is a dream coworker, so accommodating, so thoughtful, a wealth of knowledge, a great teacher. I could not have asked for a better co-anchor on CH Morning Live. I'm so excited to work with her over who knows how many years. As long as I get to do it, I hope I get to do it for many, 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 many years, because she is a dream to work with. And with Simone, I've known Simone for the better part of a decade. We've gotten along for so long. I very much respect his game. When it was, from sideline to sideline and end zone to end zone, he was a monster on the field, a perennial all-star. It's crushing to me to think that he did not win a Grey Cup ring. But listen, if the Tiger Cats go all the way this year, I'm sure they're going to anoint Simone Lawrence with the Grey Cup ring because he deserves it for sure. And as I said earlier, I'm gonna let Simone be him, because I think you have to, especially in media, I think you have to be your authentic self. So if that is who you are, that you're a high energy guy and you are going to bring it, you want to bring it, let's go. I'm down for that. I think it's going to be an exciting season.
And Simone is a Philadelphia Eagles fan like myself. So you know what? And one last thing before I wrap this up, Rick, are you drinking more coffee now with those 2:30 morning wake up calls?
To be honest, I'm actually drinking less coffee. I've had 1 cup of coffee in the morning for the past few days. This morning was the first time I had 2 cups of coffee, and I'm trying to make that the max. Back in my radio days, I would have 3 and maybe 4 later in the morning if I really had something important later on in the day. But so far, so good. Annette and I love tea as well. So, orange pico with a dash of milk, and I'm good. I know she's got, milk and a little bit of sugar in her. So we're on the same page in terms of our tea requirements. But it's been a great adjustment. I'm waking up about 30 to 60 minutes earlier than previous, but listen, it's in my DNA. I'm up in the morning. It could be midnight. It could be 1 o'clock. I'm raring to go, itching to bring the news and entertainment to the CHCH viewers. My motto is, I want to make you learn something. I want to make you think about something. I want to make you laugh about something. And if I can achieve those 3 things every morning, I think we got a winning recipe on CHCH.
The word I was going to use is passion. When you have a passion, it's not really work, and it doesn't really matter what time of day or time of night you do it, as long as you
Yes.
love what you're doing, Rick. And you are a legend in Hamilton on the radio and now on the TV side. And I'm so happy to see you back as the voice of the Cats and as on CHCH. And before we let you go, can you tell us your next show with Annette and who your next guest is going to be?
Well, yeah, so the show runs basically from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And listen, each and every morning we have different guests, whether it's renowned chefs or people making news. This morning I spoke with Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati. Later on this week, former Buffalo Sabres head coach Ted Nolan is going to be on the show. He's got a very special story to tell. We're going to talk about so many amazing stories that are happening in Hamilton, Halton, Niagara, and the Brantford area. Big news coming up in all those aspects, and I'm happy to share with Annette and with Brian Wood and Emily Vukovic and Simone Gavros in the morning show telling those stories.
And we will definitely see you, Rick, on May 30th when the Cats come to Guelph for their final preseason game against the Toronto Argonauts, and I'm really looking forward to that.
I can't wait. All I got to say is Oski wee wee.
And Rick, where can people find you again on social media?
Yeah, it's the handle is at Rick Zamperin. So Rick, R-I-C-K, and then Zamperin, whether it's Instagram, X, Facebook, Blue Sky, LinkedIn as well. Send me a note, send me a DM, I'll respond.
And you're going to be continuing the 5th quarter this year, right? After each game?
Yeah, listen, we didn't even really talk about that. Yeah, the fifth
No.
quarter, fifth quarter, I had launched on YouTube after
Yeah.
CHML Radio had closed last summer, and I thought, listen, the fans deserve this show. This show is for them. And so when the Ticats Audio Network said, "Hey, we'd love to have you on board," I thought, yeah, that's awesome. What about the fifth quarter? And they're like, "We want that too." So I'm happy to continue the tradition of the fifth quarter on the Ticats Audio Network. It's going to start May 24th, preseason game number 1. We're going to bring in calls. The fan experience is going to be the heartbeat of that show, because that's what it's all about.
And I will continue to be a viewer, and I will definitely call in this year, Rick. And I want to say congratulations again on your success with the Cats and with CHCH News. And we'll see you in a few weeks here at the University of Guelph. Thank you so much, Rick.
I appreciate it. Continued good luck with this show as well.
Thank you so much, Rick. All right, guys, that concludes season 10, episode 42, overall 537 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I want to say thank you to my guest today, Rick Zamperin, the play-by-play voice of the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Tiger Cats Audio Network, along with Simone Lawrence for the 2025 season, and also Rick is now back on CHCH News on their morning show, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. as their co-host as well. And please check out Rick on social media. I have all his social media sites on my ticker. And he's also the host of the fifth quarter show after each Hamilton Tiger Cats game. That will be on the Tiger Cats Audio Network and on his YouTube channel as well. Before I wrap up this show, guys, I was at the Toronto Argonauts day 1 of their training camp here at the University of Guelph Alumni Stadium this past Sunday. And thanks to Chris Belinovich, the manager of media communications for the Toronto Argonauts, I interviewed one of their CFL draft picks from the Ohio State University, Myron Williams, a running back. And we're going to play this interview with Myron Williams right now. This is Chris Palme at Alumni Stadium here at the University of Guelph for Toronto Argonauts training camp. And I have a special guest here, one of the Toronto Argonauts running backs that was drafted out of the Ohio State University. And can I just get your name, sir?
Myron Williams.
Okay, what are your thoughts on being drafted by the Toronto Argonauts and coming up to the CFL?
It's just truly a blessing. Just professional football is just all I wanted to play. So it's definitely a blessing to be up here with the guys.
Ohio State, congratulations on the national championship last year. What was that experience like being at the Ohio State for a number of years?
It was definitely it was eye-opening for sure, but it just gets you ready for the pros. So definitely a good program and a great school to be at.
What was your reaction like when you got drafted by the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts in the CFL draft?
I was just blessed, just very thankful for everything, all the hard work I done put in. So, it's just time to make everybody see it pay off.
What before you came up to the CFL, did you know a little bit about the game and up here in Toronto?
Yeah, I know a little bit. They had 12 players on the field, and then the receivers get a running start. So that was kind of got to get used to it a little bit more, but it's very different.
What are your thoughts on the training camp facility here at the University of Guelph Alumni Stadium?
It's nice. It's nice. We got everything we need here, so it's definitely nice.
With Ohio State, thoughts on Ryan Day and the coaching staff, and how much have you evolved as a player and a running back since your rookie year with Ohio State?
Definitely a great head coach and a great staff too. So I would say they made me better as a man and as a player. I just try to be better every day at something. So that's a motto I go by.
How much of an adjustment has it been coming over to the Canadian Football League with the 3 downs and wider and longer fields and the different formations?
It's not that much different. It's a lot more running. So definitely got to be in shape. But it's not a lot more different, just a little bit. It ain't nothing too crazy.
What's one word to describe yourself as a running back?
A dog. D-O-G. Dog.
And what are some fun facts about you too the fans might not know about you?
I make music and I just like to chill. I like nature. So I like just walk outside and just enjoy the nature.
Now, if you could have a walk-up music like they do in Major League Baseball, what walk-up song would you have to get yourself pumped up before a game?
That's a good one. I would say G Herbo Went Legit.
And who were some of your early football influences and mentors, if you had any?
So I looked up, like when I first started playing running back, I was 9 years old and I was watching a lot of Adrian Peterson. So that's what I really looked up to. And then it got to Marshawn Lynch. So just the physical running styles.
Is there a story behind your number?
28. Yeah. Like I said, when I first started playing running back, I was watching a lot of Adrian Peterson. So I was just like, I want to wear 28. And then the rest is just history.
Besides yourself right now, who's the best running back in football?
Got to give it to Saquon. Got to give it to him.
By the way, I'm a Birds fan too, so I still believe in the running game, and I feel that an offense is more balanced when you have a passing and a running attack as well. How do you describe yourself as a pass protector too? Are you good at pass protecting as well as running the ball?
Yeah, I would say it's equally good. Yeah. That's what I worked on. I worked on a lot in college because running the ball, that's easy. Everybody can do that. But when you know how to pass protect, that separates you as a player. So, yeah, I've been working on that a lot too.
And do you have a message for Toronto Argonaut fans, 19-time Grey Cup champions?
We're going back.
And I want to say thank you so much for doing this interview. Are you on social media for fans to follow you?
I am. It's OKMIYAN. OK Mayan.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview and continue success. Even though you're an Ohio State guy, thank you for the interview and all the best to you this season.
Thank you. Go Arcs.
That was Mayan Williams, running back for the Toronto Argonauts, who was drafted out of the Ohio State. And I want to say thank you to Chris Belinovich again for arranging that interview with Mayan Williams from the Toronto Argonauts. And the Toronto Argonauts will be in Guelph until the end of May for training camp. For training camp information and schedules, go to argonauts.ca, their official team website, or go to Twitter X, and follow Mike Hogan. Mike Hogan does regular updates on the Argos practice schedule at the University of Guelph. They do have a preseason game here at the end of May against the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Alumni Stadium, and their practices are open to the public unless otherwise told. And argonauts.ca, or go to Twitter X and Mike Hogan, who is their play-by-play announcer and does the communications for the Toronto Argonauts. So the Toronto Argonauts will be in Guelph for the next 3 weeks, and the Argonauts' first preseason game will be May 24th at the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Hamilton Stadium, which hasn't been renamed yet from Tim Hortons Field. And then the Argos will host the Cats here in Guelph at the end of May, I believe on Friday, May 30th, I believe at 7 o'clock as well. And if you want to follow the CFL, go to CFL.ca. And if you're a Tiger Cats fan watching this show today or listening to it, go to TigerCats.ca as well. And again, I want to say thank you to my guest, Rick Zamperin, for coming on today, the voice of the Cats and the co-host of the morning live show on CHCH News, Monday to Fridays from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I have another announcement as we wrap up this show, guys. The next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarryCollin.com, will be on Thursday, May 15th, 3 p.m. Eastern. This is her first appearance on our show. Her name is Ronnie Littlewood. She is the founder of Couples Clinic in Sarnia, Ontario, and she's a relationship coach as well. So this Thursday, May 15th, 3 p.m., Ronnie Littlewood, founder of Couples Clinic in Sarnia, Ontario, will be my next guest here on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. Also, guys, iTunes country chart topping Olivia Lynn, who's been a guest on my show, does it again and is set to release her 9th single on May 16th, 2025, in hopes of redoing her early successes, having parted ways from her former management team in early 2024. Olivia Lynn has taken some time to write a raw new material in her own very unique way, UK country pop style way, with her lyrics based on her real life experiences. This is the second release in an exciting new era for Olivia Lynn after releasing it an open in January's, and she's looking forward to having her fans. She's looking forward to her fans and the music world in general hearing and enjoying yet another of one of her songs written by herself. The return to the music industry is going well so far, with radio play already happening in the UK. We look forward to her first album this July 2025. Olivia Lynn's first album this July 2025. Olivia's raw and unique talent certainly has people talking. Please find her Linktree link below, and you can also follow her on Linktree, but she's also on Instagram and her website as well. Just Google Olivia Lynn Music, and she's everywhere. So just wanted to give a shout out to Olivia Lynn, who's been a guest on this show twice. She's a friend of mine, and please check out her work. Her music is available on her YouTube channel, but on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and all music live streaming platforms as well. So please check out Olivia Lynn, UK country star, her latest single and her newest album, first album coming out this July 2025 as well. All right, guys. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, right now at Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph, check out a 2025 Equinox LT all-wheel Midnight Edition. You can lease from $218 bi-weekly. That's like $119 weekly at 5.5% interest for 48 months with $4,200 down payment on an ultra low kilometer lease. More details available at barrycullen.com or drop by the dealership at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. And make sure you tell them Chris Palme sent you as well. At Barry Cullen Chevrolet, Barry Cullen Chevrolet has been the official sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show since September 2022. And great customer service, great products there, and family run and operated here in Guelph since 1969. Also, guys, I am on Cameo. If you'd like a personalized video message from yours truly, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Palme, and book your request today. And feel free to ask me questions about my radio show, my media work, my sports experience, or if you'd like a birthday wish, pep talk, greetings, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Palme, and make sure you book your Cameo today. Looking forward to doing some. And as we always, guys, as we wrap up this show, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and on Instagram. And fingers crossed, StreamYard will eventually partner up with TikTok, and eventually I can live stream the show on my TikTok page as well one day as well. And speaking of TikTok, you guys can follow me on TikTok at Chris Palme. That's at Chris Palme on TikTok. I post a lot of content there as well. Please hit the follow and like notification as well. You can also check me out on my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. All my social media sites are there. All my media work is on there as well. Everything you need to know about me is on beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, go to StreamYard.com. If you're a business that does a lot of webinars or live streaming stuff, go to StreamYard.com and contact the sales department for business pricing as well. And StreamYard does have basic free plans or paid professional plans like I do. And I have been with StreamYard now for over 4 years, and I give a big thumbs up to StreamYard. So StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the audio versions on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And please remember to follow and subscribe to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the Argo Bounce podcast show, which is coming back in June, and the Small Talk podcast are all available on these audio platforms. So please subscribe and hit the like notifications. And finally, guys, you can email the show at live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you're a fan of my show and my media work and you'd like to tip the host, I am on PayPal. Go to cpame19@gmail.com and you can PayPal me and tip me if you like to support my talk show and my media work as well. And speaking of that, if you're a business that's looking to advertise on live stream, I have 45 countries in the world listening to this show. My YouTube channel has now well over 600 subscribers, almost 400,000 views. Please email me at cpame19@gmail.com, or you can DM me on my social media pages, and let's see if we can work together in getting the word out about your business or businesses on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. Finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel, Blue Sky. I am now on Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19. So I'm pretty well everywhere on all major social media platforms as well. And we're going to wrap up this show, guys, with some sports news. Just give me 1 second. We're going to wrap this up, and we have some Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. We've got Winnipeg, Dallas, Game 4. The Dallas Stars are up 2-1 in the series. Can Winnipeg get a win tonight in Dallas and even the series up at 2-2, going back to Winnipeg for Game 5? Or will the Stars have a commanding 3-1 lead going back to Winnipeg Game 5? That game is an 8 o'clock face-off tonight. And then Major League Baseball. The Tigers coming off a 14-2 win over the Red Sox last night. Boston and Detroit tonight. First pitch 6:40 at Comerica Park. The Tigers right now have the second best record in Major League Baseball at 27-15, behind the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. And NBA playoffs tonight, guys. We have Indiana at Cleveland. The Pacers are up 3-1 and can wrap up this series and upset with a win over the Cavs. I wouldn't call it an upset. I tell people regular season records don't always translate into playoff success. So I feel the Indiana Pacers are going to finish the season off for the Cavs tonight. So Game 5 tonight, 7 o'clock in Cleveland. Cavs have to win or they are done. And the other game is at 9:30 tonight. That series is probably going to go 7 between the Denver Nuggets and Oklahoma Thunder. That series is tied 2-2. Oklahoma City is the number 1 seed in the West and in the NBA. And that series is tied 2-2. And I think it's going to go 7 games. So Denver, Oklahoma City at 9:30 tonight as well. And again, remember the Toronto Argonauts training camp is going on here in Guelph until the end of May. And for more information, go to argonauts.ca or go to Mike Hogan. Follow Mike Hogan on Twitter X, and he has updates on the Argos practice schedule as well. And I want to say congratulations to the longtime play-by-play voice of the Buffalo Bandits of the National Lacrosse League, a 3-time NLL champion announcer with the Bandits, John Gerkler, for winning the Tom Berselli Award as the top media person in the National Lacrosse League. So congratulations to my friend John Gerkler for winning that award. And the NLL finals, best of 3, start this Friday, May 16th at 7:30, KeyBank Center. Saskatchewan Rush, Buffalo Bandits. Can the Buffalo Bandits three-peat and be the first NLL team to do it since the 2012 to 2014 Rochester Nighthawks, who did it with goalie Matt Vince? So Bandits and Saskatchewan this Friday night, 7:30, TSN here in Canada, ESPN Plus in the States, and 1520 The Bet in Buffalo with John Gerkler and Steve Bermel and Dave Buchanan with the call there as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. Bandits and Saskatchewan Rush. Check out the lacrosse league. Go to their website, nll.com. And if you want to go to a Bandits game, I'm not sure what their ticket situation is right now. I would go to bandits.com. And if you want to go Friday night, I would go to bandits.com right now and get your tickets now, because most likely they're going to be sold out in Bandit Land at the KeyBank Center as well. And that is about it today. Again, I want to say thank you to my friend and a friend of our show, Rick Zamperin, the new play-by-play announcer for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the new co-host of the morning live show on CHCH News in Hamilton, for coming on here today as well. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and we'll see you back here Thursday, May 15th in a couple days at 3 o'clock with Ronnie Littlewood from Couple Therapy in Sarnia, Ontario. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph.